Hello, welcome to our learning community. Today we are going to learn about USSD fundamentals. Before we dive deep into our learning, if this is your first time checking out our learning community, you can support us by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. USSD is an acronym for Unstructured Supplementary Service Data. This is a technology that is used by GSM mobile phones to communicate with the service providers, computers, or servers. USSD applications will allow you to interact with various services, for example, mobile banking, prepaid recharge, or when you're inquiring for your balances. In some scenarios, you can also use USSD to make payments for various utilities, for example, internet, water, electricity, and any other subscription service. This is an example of a USSD application. You can just dial *144#, and depending on the kind of service you want to access, the menu would pop up. USSD applications are usually developed by service providers, and they allow you to access various services from your end. All USSD applications work in the same way. Typically, they involve a series of menu-driven interactions where the user will navigate through the options that is presented on their screens, and they interact with the application by entering corresponding numbers or text responses. This process will go on until the user completes their transaction or decides to exit the session. An ideal scenario would be a user has their cell phone or their mobile phone. They'll dial the USSD code. In between, we have a USSD service provider. They're the ones to receive all incoming requests, and they redirect those requests accordingly to the web application of the service provider. The web application is able to receive the request, process it, and send back the response to the user's phone. We will look at all this when we are doing our practical session. There are a lot of benefits when you're working with USSD applications. One of the greatest benefits is accessibility. USSD applications work with all types of mobile phones, including the basic feature phones. This ensures that the service is accessible to a broader audience, even those without smartphones. Again, you don't need an internet connection for you to be able to access the USSD services. This is usually useful in areas where the internet access is limited or very expensive. USSD is very cost effective. Most of these services are usually low cost, or some are even free for users, making it a very economical choice for both the providers and the consumers. Another powerful aspect of USSD is the real-time communication. This is very ideal for interactive services like banking, surveys, or customer support, where you just key in whatever you want and you get real-time feedback. USSD applications have sessions which are typically fast and very efficient. All you need to do is select an option from the menu and you get feedback. You can also leverage on the widespread adoption of USSD services. There are very many organizations, for example banking, healthcare, agriculture, and other NGOs which have already adopted USSD. This means most of the users are already familiar on how it works and how to navigate through the menus. Lastly, USSD applications can work in remote or rural areas where the network coverage is only limited to GSM and we do not have any other kind of connection there. In our session today, we've defined what is USSD, looked at how it functions and some of its benefits. In our next session, we are going to learn how to install a text editor that will help us to develop our USSD application.